and commissioners, as part of our ongoing celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Coastal Act, I'm pleased to be here today to highlight the Commission's Energy, Ocean Resources, and Federal Consistency Program, and its important and unique role in the Commission's work. I have the privilege of managing the program in partnership with Holly Wire, who is joining us via Zoom today. As I will touch on, the history and origins of this program are intertwined with that of the Commission itself, and the issues the program has grappled with over the last 50 years kind of reflect the evolution of California's coastal economy and our changing relationship with the coast and ocean. I actually have a presentation, which I'd love to show during this talk. I could just do the monologue, but it'll be more interesting. Okay. Thank you. And next slide, please. Over the years, the work of this program has helped ensure that the resources and uses protected by the Coastal Act, public access, sensitive coastal habitats and species, and scenic views, to name just a few, can persist alongside vital economic uses of the coast and ocean. In celebrating the accomplishments of this Commission, in preserving these resources, at times through the rejection of poorly sited, conceived, or harmful projects, it can be overlooked that Coastal Act policies seldom fully prohibit development from occurring, even when it has potential impacts. The importance of coastal dependent development in particular is recognized in the Coastal Act, and in general, the Coastal Act seeks a precautionary balance and coexistence between environmental and economic uses of the coast. This is the space that our program finds itself in a lot, and I think it's fair to say that striking that balance can sometimes be challenging. Next slide, please. In the early days of the Commission and the Energy Ocean Resources Program, the emphasis was often on the energy side of the docket. Our docket was heavy with oil and gas development and coastal power plants. Federal Consistency at that time operated as a separate unit, though often in close coordination with energy. This collaboration was natural because many of the Commission's early project reviews were of oil and gas development in federal waters outside the coastal zone. Over time, the program has evolved to include other types of marine and coastal uses, such as desalination, aquaculture, and sediment management, as well as marine and estuarine habitat restoration and federal activities. More recently, our program has also expanded to include offshore wind, wave power, and other emerging issues. Unlike the Commission's districts focused on specific regions and cities, our program covers projects from across the state that are located in the marine environment or involve certain industries or categories of use. This approach was developed many years ago to foster consistency and allow our permitting staff to develop expertise on certain project types. The idea was that this would facilitate more efficient, technical, and comprehensive reviews. Next slide, please. The Commission is California's designated coastal management program for the outer coast under the Coastal Zone Management Act, or CZMA. As such, it has a unique review authority over, on one hand, activities carried out by federal agencies, and on the other, projects that need federal permits or licenses. These two types of federal consistency review provide the Commission with the authority to determine whether a project or activity is consistent with the Chapter 3 policies of the Coastal Act, and to work with federal agencies using tools like project mods and conditions of concurrence to help achieve consistency. Our staff reviews a wide variety of activities and projects, both inside and outside the coastal zone. Because the Commission's review authority under the CZMA is determined not by location, but whether a project or activity would have effects on the coastal resources and uses, federal consistency can expand the Commission's jurisdiction into federal waters and inland of the coastal zone. Next slide, please. So don't worry, I'm not going to belabor the many details of federal consistency today. That's a whole nother presentation, which we should probably do at some point. But I do want to highlight a really key concept, and that is spillover effects. Put simply, if a federal activity or permitted project would affect the coastal zone and its resources, it's subject to the Commission's consistency review. For example, these spillover effects could stem from inland projects that affect coastal watersheds and salmonids, or from sonar or ship strikes affecting whales outside state waters, from oil spills and discharges from platforms in federal waters, or from activities like rocket launches originating on certain military installations. Next slide, please. For more than a century, the California coast has been the site of extensive oil and gas development. And though this industry has gradually waned as reservoirs have been drawn down, various federal administrations over the years have called for expansion. The shadow of the 1969 Santa Barbara oil spill, which occurred from Union Oil Platform A in federal waters, about 5 miles offshore of Santa Barbara County, remains. This spill helped galvanize a national coastal protection movement and was one of a handful of events leading directly to Prop 20 and the creation of the Coastal Commission. Not surprisingly, oil and gas was a major focus in the Commission's early days. In the 1970s and 80s, Commission actions on projects analyzed by its energy and federal consistency units helped establish safeguards, increase public input and transparency, and allow for balanced consideration of oil and gas development on the Outer Continental Shelf. Key outcomes included the careful siting and consolidation of facilities and infrastructure to limit industrial development in coastal areas, the adoption of improved spill prevention and response capabilities and techniques, and phasing out of the use of spill-prone tanker ships for transporting oil and gas to market. Next slide, please. Interesting. Next slide, please. In the 1990s and 2000s, the Commission played a key role in oil spill remediation, cleanup, and habitat restoration projects. These efforts included the removal of over 400,000 gallons of leaked diesel and petroleum products from Unical's Avila Beach facility, along with the restoration of the beach and the downtown commercial area. The Commission also worked on the massive, ongoing remediation and restoration of hundreds of acres of sensitive dune habitat at the Guadalupe oil field in northern Santa Barbara County. In 2007, a major focus of the energy space was on the importation of natural gas, leading to several proposals for floating industrial complexes. The Commission joined several other state agencies in resisting these projects, including by objecting to a large floating natural gas terminal proposed for federal waters offshore of Oxnard. Among many policy inconsistencies, the Commission found that this project's NOx and ozone emissions were inconsistent with the Coastal Act air quality policy, and that its greenhouse gas emissions would contribute to climate change, sea level rise, and coastal hazards. This objection was a key factor in halting the establishment of a new and damaging industrial use offshore of Southern California. I also want to note here an important and recent rebalancing of the Coastal Act in favor of resource protection, which occurred in 2023 with the passage of SB 704. This bill limited the industrial override provision of Section 30260 and requires new or expanded oil and gas projects to be fully consistent with Chapter 3 policies in order to receive a CDP. Next slide, please. Coastal areas have long been preferred sites for nuclear and conventional power plants, largely because of easy access to ocean cooling water. Once-through cooling systems withdraw and discharge vast amounts of seawater, entraining a significant share of coastal biological productivity. For many years, our program's research and analysis has helped the Commission explore ways to avoid, minimize, and mitigate for these impacts. For example, the Commission's mitigation requirements for the San Onofre nuclear plant included the creation of the world's largest artificial rocky reef, the Wheeler Reef North off of San Clemente, and extensive wetland restoration. The resulting mitigation program set a new standard by establishing that substantial intake impacts can and should be offset through compensatory mitigation, supported by rigorous scientific monitoring. It also gave our current executive director something to do when she first started. More recently, just last December, the Commission's approval of the relicensing and continued operation of Diablo Canyon Power Plant included another novel and significant mitigation requirement for the plant's entrainment impacts, this time for the conservation and provision of public access to a large area of PG&E's Diablo Canyon lands. Next slide, please. Since the 1990s, coastal communities have increasingly considered desalination as a drought-proof water source. Desal plants can have entrainment and discharge impacts, and our program has applied lessons from once through cooling to their review. When designed well, without open ocean intakes, desal plants can minimize these impacts or avoid them completely. Building on this work, the Commission has supported sustainably sited and designed facilities, such as the Doheny Desalination Project in Dana Point, which uses subsurface intakes and blends its brine with a nearby wastewater outfall to reduce coastal effects. Conversely, the Commission has also denied projects in hazardous locations or with marine impacts that could not be adequately mitigated. Next slide, please. Another increasingly important economic use of the coast is aquaculture. As this industry has expanded over the past 30 years, program staff have worked with growers and other agencies to bring aquaculture operations into compliance with the Coastal Act and to develop a permitting approach that balances protection of resources, such as eelgrass, with sustainable seafood production. In the past several years, Commission staff have collaborated with partner agencies to help shape the state's forthcoming Aquaculture Action Plan, an initiative led by the Ocean Protection Council to strengthen California's aquaculture governance framework. Slide 11. Oh, next slide. As you know, the Commission has invested significant resources over the past 5 years in planning for offshore wind development, including the addition of expert staff in our program to carry out advanced coordination and impacts analysis. In 2022, the Commission reviewed consistency determinations for BOEM's leasing of 2 wind energy areas off the central and north coasts, and included Condition 7C that required the creation of a working group to devise a strategy to address potential impacts to commercial and recreational fishing. This intensive effort by our program staff culminated just last month at the Gonzales meeting with the Commission's unanimous approval of the statewide strategy for the coexistence of California fishing communities and offshore wind. Next slide, please. As I close out this presentation, I wanted to touch on several notable Commission decisions stemming from other projects reviewed by our program. These are examples of how the expanded effects-based geographic reach of federal consistency review has allowed the Commission to more effectively protect coastal resources and uses. A 2008 objection to the consistency certification for a toll freeway extension through a state park campground, endangered species habitat, and a critical watershed for the Trestles surf break prevented the destruction of ESHA, the loss of treasured cultural and recreational resources, including a competition site for the 2028 Olympics. Next slide, please. Over the past 13 years, our program, with Commission support, has also successfully collaborated with the NOAA Restoration Center to implement a programmatic consistency determination that has fast-tracked nearly 50 stream and riparian restoration projects in Central and Northern California. These projects include many that benefit threatened salmonids, such as the removal of fish passage barriers, riparian restoration, off-channel habitat creation, large woody debris placement, and other methods to improve spawning, rearing, and migration habitat for endangered species. Next slide, please. This quick tour has covered just a fraction of the many highlights and accomplishments of the Commission's Energy, Ocean Resources, and Federal Consistency Program over the past 50 years. I could spend another 2 hours exploring the complexities of just the handful of projects that we've touched on today, but I'm going to let you get back to your important work. Before I end, though, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate my outstanding coworkers. The photo on this slide is from our recent all-staff retreat in Monterey. And though you can't see them here, all of us are standing on the shoulders of multiple generations of exceptional staff who came before us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Joe.